And a very pleasant good day to you, everyone, and welcome into another edition of my show. I'm Hank Irwin, and today we are in Birmingham. And back of me is the famous Alabama Sports Hall of Fame. This is the Taj Mahal of sports in Alabama, and I want you to see it up close and personal on this week's edition. So we're going to take you on a tour, show you some great memorabilia, some great trophies, and some great reminders of the great sports heroes we have right here in Alabama. So I want you to stay with me. Let's get started. The statue of Bear Bryant in Auburn's Suge Jordan stands guard to one of the most outstanding sports museums in all of the United States. Over 33,000 square feet and some 5,000 artifacts from some of the greatest athletes to play sports in Alabama. I've got the executive director right here with me, my good friend Scott Myers. And Scott, it's a thrill always to come over to the Sports Hall of Fame. Tell me how you got connected with it.
Well, thank you. It's always great to have you here as well. I have been the executive director here now for 3 years. When the former executive director, Coach Bill Legg, who many people throughout the state know, served here for 23 years as executive director, and he retired 3 years ago, and the board of directors were kind enough to ask me if I'd consider coming on and serving as the new executive director.
Well, I tell you what, some people get paid to play. You are in a toy store. How do you deal with it?
Well, it is a very tough place to have to come to work every day among what we think is the finest state sports hall of fame in the country. We have 33,000 square feet of space here with over 5,000 items of memorabilia, including things like Coach Bryant's houndstooth hat, a couple of Heisman trophies, and a few other items we'll see in a bit.
It's a fascinating place. And we're in the rotunda. You've got it designed and decorated. It's always a special location, I guess, for the new inductees.
That's right. These 8 cases that are around here in the main rotunda are this year's class, or the class of 2011 actually. And this May, when we induct our class of 2012, these inductees will all go up in one case on the second floor, and then our new class of individuals will fill these 8 cases around the atrium.
How do you make the determination on who goes in here?
Well, fortunately, I don't have to make that determination. Our board of directors and myself worked to put together the ballot of all the nominees. We have over 300 members, athletes throughout the state who've been nominated for induction in the Sports Hall of Fame. We have them separated into 2 separate categories. One what we call the modern class, and then the other we call the old timers. And on each of those categories we have separate selection committees that are broken down on congressional districts so that equal representation across the state makes up our selection committee. And those men and women throughout the state are the ones that determine who gets inducted from year to year.
How many do you choose each year?
There's nothing that states a specific number, but 8 has been what we've used for many years. It works. We have 8 cases around this rotunda, and then on the night that we induct, each of our inductees gets to speak. So if you have too many people speaking, it could be long, but 8 is a number that we've traditionally inducted every year.
I would imagine it's so special when you see all of these big names walk into this building and realize this is a great athlete I've watched for years, and now I get a chance to hang around with them. I imagine that's fascinating.
Well, it's a lot of fun. I'll tell you a great story speaking about our museum. This was built in 1992, and a quarterback by the name of Namath was inducted prior to 92, so he had never been in the museum, and for the first time about a year and a half ago he came by to visit and to go on a tour. Well, walking around the museum with Joe Namath and seeing him point out different things that he'd see through the years, looking at his own case, talking about the jerseys and those type things, was quite a treat. He spent, by the way, 3.5 hours walking around this museum and taking in all the memorabilia.
Man,
memories.
Yeah, that would be great. Do they come by pretty often? I mean, I guess on a given day you never know who's going to walk through the front door.
Well, you really don't. Many of them will drop in at different times if they're coming through town or for a particular reason. But we're very fortunate in that our banquet every year that we have in May, we'll have 40 plus inductees that'll come back just for the banquet, and not including the 8 that'll be inducted that year. So that's a lot of fun, and they'll sit back. We do private events for them so that they'll have an opportunity to enjoy fellowship together and share stories and relive some of their glory days together. And they always want to be involved because they think that this is one of the finest sports Hall of Fames in the country, and we agree with them.
Why is it one of the finest? What makes this place so special?
Well, I always say that there are two things that make this museum what it is. Number one, the facility. When you look around and you see the building, the detail that went into the building, 33,000 square feet, the memorabilia, the items that we have on display, that's one piece of it. But the other piece is the quality of our inductees. When you start talking about guys like Joe Namath and Bart Starr and Bo Jackson and Charles Barkley and Jesse Owens and Joe Louis and Mia Hamm, and it goes on and on and on, and Sean Alexander, one of our recent inductees, Frank Thomas. In fact, I'll tell you a quick story about Frank Thomas. You know, he had played baseball and football at Auburn, grew up in the Columbus area, and had a tremendous career in Major League Baseball. When we were speaking to him about induction, he was very kind and polite, and yet he just didn't really get it. And when he came in for the first time the weekend he was being inducted and he saw the museum, he was really in a little bit of shock and dismay at the quality of facilities that we have here.
Well, it's a beautiful place. Scott's going to give us a little walking tour around the complex and let you see more of the Sports Hall of Fame. So I want you to stay with us. We are down here in Birmingham at the Alabama Sports Hall of Fame. We're going to show you around. Stay with us as we continue the Hank Irwin Show. And welcome back. On today's edition of the Hank Irwin Show, we are at the Alabama Sports Hall of Fame in downtown Birmingham. Boy, what a beautiful facility. What a reward and a signature for the greatness of the state of Alabama. I've got my good friend Scott Myers here. He's the executive director. We're now on the second floor. Tell me what's up here.
Well, this is a floor that has most of the memorabilia in the museum on it, the second and third floors. And again, I mentioned earlier the 5,000 items. Here you'll find footballs and baseballs and basketballs and soccer balls and all types of memorabilia going back from the early 19th century all the way up until last year that are on display here.
How do you determine what goes on display? Because I'm sure you've got more stuff than you can put out here.
Well, the way that we work it is each inductee we ask to contribute things for their case. So most of the items in the museum are actually on loan, albeit a permanent loan for a lot of times, from the families of the inductees or the inductees themselves. So they really kind of determine what they want to use to tell their story. And sometimes there will be times where we'll ask for different things to be put on display, but for the most part that's how it works. So it really year to year depends on the amount of items and the quality items that we get from our inductees. And we've been very fortunate through the years because we have some really remarkable pieces all the way from Joe Namath's jersey when he was at Alabama and the Jets. We've got Coach Bryant's hats. We got Bart Starr's helmet. We've got Joe Louis's robe. We've got some tusk from an elephant that was shot years ago, which of course is illegal these days. But just amazing items. We've got the first football used at Legion Field. We've got a number of hats from Harry the Hat Walker, including his silver bat from when he was National League batting champ. So just item after item after item. And every day, the interesting thing, every day I'll go through the museum and I'll walk around and I'll see something that either I hadn't seen before or I haven't recognized and really looked at, and that's kind of a fun thing for me. One of the ones I was talking about the other day was Kevin Green, who obviously was a tremendously imposing linebacker for a number of years. Well, he has on display just right around the corner over here his Eagle badge. Becoming an Eagle Scout was so important to Kevin Green that he wanted the young men and women and the people from Alabama to come see that and see that on display here at this museum.
That's exciting. Tell me about some of the little hidden treasures here that if you come in and you want to take the Scott Myers secret tour to see the things you wouldn't see normally, make sure you see this. What would you say?
Well, the one thing I point out to everybody when they come here is I imagine they're going to get a lot of the football because we have a tremendous history in the sport throughout the state. Our baseball history might be, especially in the first part of the 19th century, might compete with that when you talk about through the years Hank Aaron and Satchel Paige and Willie Mays. But the thing that I point out is a place on the third floor that has Joe Louis and Jesse Owens, their display side by side. And what those two men meant to not only the state of Alabama and the United States in general, but to the world is just tremendous. If you'll think for a moment that the two African Americans from the state of Alabama in 1936 and 1938 respectively did as much to damage the propaganda machine of Nazi Germany as anybody else in the world. 36, of course, was when Jesse Owens went over to Berlin at the Berlin Olympic Games and won 4 gold medals right under Hitler's nose, and was just tremendous sporting accomplishment. And in the second one, 2 years later, Joe Louis in a rematch with Max Schmeling that was hyped, and of course that was when boxing was a big thing. Well, Max Schmeling was the poster boy for Nazi Germany, and Joe Louis from Lafayette, Alabama, knocked him out in the first round. So that history and what that meant to the world at that time was, I think, one of the tremendous stories that's yet to be fully told from this museum.
Yeah, there are all sorts of stories here in this magnificent facility. You've also got, I guess, audio-visual that they can watch?
We do. Every one of our inductees, we have a video display where they could go, they could search for inductees, they could, I want to see Bart Starr, I want to see Bo Jackson, I want to see Bobby Humphrey, Cornelius Bennett, whoever. You could go by all of our inductees. They'll have a video display of some of their accomplishments, different pictures from their career, and some different facts that someone may not know about.
Well, we're going to continue our walk around here at the Alabama Sports Hall of Fame. My guest is Scott Myers, the Executive Director, and I want you to stay with us. There's more to come. And welcome back. On today's edition of the Hank Irwin Show, we're down here at the Alabama Sports Hall of Fame in downtown Birmingham. My good friend Scott Myers has given us a tour of the building, a great facility, and one of the highlights of this great facility is the Student Athlete Scholarship Program that started so many years ago, and that it highlights the rewards to a lot of our young people, and I like this. Tell me more.
Well, I tell you, we're definitely involved in the educational programs here at the Hall of Fame. We have essentially 3. One is an educational tour program whereby students from across the state come here and they tour the museum as part of their school program. Usually 3rd and 4th graders do that. The second program is an independent program that we partner with the Alabama High School Athletic Association, and that is the Bryant Jordan Student Athlete Scholarship Program. What you see behind us here is a display of last year's student athlete winners from the Bryant Jordan program, and it recognizes really the best of our state. It's over 96 scholarship winners from every pocket and corner of the state, and we give away over $280,000 annually. On top of that, we provide another $450,000 worth of scholarship opportunities in partnership with the four-year universities and the community colleges throughout the state. So it's really a fantastic program for the Hall of Fame to administer and be a part of.
What does it do to these young athletes when they receive such a distinguished scholarship?
Well, it's a very, first of all, you can't apply for the scholarship. You have to be nominated by your high school principal, your coach, or your counselor. So you're talking about the best of the best from each of these high schools all across the state, and just quality young men and women that are at each level. So just to be nominated for the award is a tremendous speaks tremendously about you as an individual and your character. And then it's so difficult to pick the winners and to go up from your class to your region to your statewide level. But those that come here, it's really fun for myself and our staff to be around these young men and women to see how bright the future of our state really is.
Yeah, these are the best of the kids in the high school level, and they make you so proud that not only are they humble, but they're very intelligent, and they've got a tremendous amount of athletic potential. So I know it's exciting when you see them get these scholarships.
Well, it really is, and seeing and hearing about their plans and what they want to do and where they want to go, and it does. It brings a smile to everybody that's a part of this program.
Have we gotten anybody, are we on track with anybody that's received a scholarship to eventually become a Hall of Fame member here?
Well, that's a great question. There are none that I can think of at this time. Probably one of the bigger names is a Hall of Famer by all rights of his character, and that's Sam Shade, who's one of the coaches over at Samford University, which is where I played football. So I've got a little favor towards Samford. But most of these athletes that receive this award don't go on to play collegiately. They have to play in high school, but they're not. Most of them aren't playing collegiately. So they may not be Hall of Famers, but we do have quite a number of doctors, lawyers, businessmen, and successful people in the community. And this program now is 27 years old. This banquet coming up this year for 2012 is going to be the 27th annual banquet of this program. So it's a tremendous program. It was founded again by the Board of Directors here at the Hall of Fame in partnership with Alabama High School Athletic Association.
So how do the possible candidates start the process for consideration?
Well, it's part, again, it's through your high school. The principals know about it, the counselors know about it, and the coaches know about it. And they each year are asked to nominate somebody for both your academic, scholar athlete, and then achievement award winner. And they're two different categories. The academic, they're all going to be 4-point something, and they're going to have 30 plus on their ACTs, just really the brightest young men and women throughout the state. The Achievement Award really recognizes those people who've had to overcome something throughout their course of their high school years, whether it be socioeconomic, whether it be an injury, whether it be family issues, whatever the situation, but they've achieved in spite of their circumstances. And these young men and women, seeing their resilience and their work ethic, and it's really inspiring program.
Well, there's no doubt about it, and I want you folks to be aware of it. And if you've got a youngster in your area that you think, man, they need to be considered, what's the best way to start? Contact the principal of the local high school?
That's right. Contact the principal at the high school or their guidance counselor or coach.
Well, very good. Well, that's the great scholarship program that's connected with the Alabama Sports Hall of Fame, and we're going to continue with this edition of the Hank Irwin Show. Stay with us. And welcome back. Now, haven't you enjoyed our show today? We've been down here at the Alabama Sports Hall of Fame. Scott Myers has been so kind to take us around and give us a little bit of a tour. I want you to put it on your calendar to come and visit the Alabama Sports Hall of Fame. So if people want to come, when do they come and what do they need to know?
Well, we're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. Admission price is $5 for adults with discounts for senior citizens, students, and of course military. And we'd love to have them.
It's a great place. And can they go on the internet and find out more?
Absolutely. They can go to our website, ashof.org, alabamasportshalloffame.org. And that's got all of the information about the inductees, about our museum, hours, our different educational programs we discussed, all the things we do here at the Hall of Fame.
And it's located where in downtown Birmingham?
We are on 2150 Richard Arrington Jr. Boulevard North, right down by the Birmingham Jefferson Convention Complex, across the street from the Sheridan, and also across the street from the football capital of the nation, the Southeastern Conference headquarters. So we're right here in a great location, and just an easy place to get to.
Well, the Taj Mahal is ready for you. It's our Taj Mahal of sports in Alabama, so make sure you take the opportunity to bring the kids. They will love it. So, Scott, I want to thank you so much for letting me come over.
Well, I want to thank you, and as just a token of our appreciation, I've got a little memento, one of our caps from the Hall of Fame. We have a little gift shop inside, but I'd like for you to take that and wear it and promote our great Hall of Fame.
Well, that's mighty kind of you. I'll take advantage of it. Let me put it on here and wear it home.
Oh, yeah, it actually looks good on you. We got the right size.
Great. Thank you, Scott.
Great to see you.
Always good to see Scott Myers. Come and see him down here at the Sports Hall of Fame. That's our show. Hope you enjoyed it. Until our next visit, this is Hank Irwin saying God bless you and goodbye from the Alabama Sports Hall of Fame in downtown Birmingham.